Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Chief Jerry Wright. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate some big wins in our department. We have some incredible police work to share with you today. Before we get started, I want to recognize a few folks in the audience. Our Mayor, Jeff Wagner, is here. Mayor, thank you. Director of Communications, Rex Lindberg. Mayor's Chief of Staff, Dan. Is Dan here? All right. I know I saw HR Director Trina White here. Thank you, Trina. We have a couple councilmen here. Councilman Emmanuel Guerrero and Thomas Shanebein is here. Also, Councilwoman Van Hout. Thank you all for being here. Also would like to recognize LaPorte Chief of Police Scott Pulig and his Assistant Chiefs Benny Bowles and John Kruger. Also retired LaPorte Chief of Police Steve Deerdorf is here. You know, I also want to recognize and thank my admin staff, top to bottom, and that includes our media relations team for putting all this together. An awful lot of work goes into a big award ceremony. We do have a big one today. And remember, the awards that we talk about today are just a sampling of the really, really great police work that goes on in our department all the time. I think we just caught another robbery suspect today while we were waiting for this ceremony. What's great about Pasadena, even though it's a big city, at the same time we have a small town feel, kind of like a scaled up version of Mayberry, and I kind of like that. And crooks and the criminals want it to be more like Gotham City, but our cops are too good. They just keep on arresting them. Which brings me to our first Outstanding Performance Award. I want to ask the Proactive Policing Unit to please come forward. Stand up right up here. As they make their way, I'm going to tell you who these officers are. Officers Charles Bonzo, Ivan Santianes, Michael Turner, Drew Greer, Daniel Jenkins, and their sergeant, Brian Dudley. We have also one undercover officer. We're not going to name him, but he also took part in what I'm about to explain to you. These officers are being recognized for solving a series of armed robberies and stopping a major violent crime spree on the southwest side of the city. Now, they've been focusing very strongly on our community improvement initiative. And what this is, it's a department-wide, actually also working with our city partners and with local businesses and with apartment complexes. And it's been going on for 6 months. And they've been doing a great job. One day, they were out there and they responded to an armed robbery with a gun. They arrived quickly, but the suspect had already fled, so they began their investigation. The next day, another aggravated robbery occurred with the same suspect description. The PPU soon located a person of interest, conducted surveillance, got a good photograph. Victims later identified a suspect, and felony warrant was issued. Search was on to get him in custody as soon as possible. After a few days of intense surveillance, the elusive and brazen suspect committed not one but 2 additional armed robberies, one in Pasadena, one in South Houston. Very short period of time. Stakes were rising higher, but these officers stepped up to the challenge. They redoubled their efforts, and their dogged determination finally paid off. They got their suspect, arrested this violent criminal, and did it without injury to anyone and at great risk to their own safety. The suspect later confessed to 7 different armed robberies. Isn't that right? And I'll tell you what, when you put a gun in someone's face, it's something they'll carry with them for the rest of their lives. Thank you guys for refusing to rest until this suspect is brought to justice. I am honored to present you with the Outstanding Performance Award.
Let's all scoot that way. Right there. Perfect. 1, 2, 3.
Excellent. Great job. Great job. All right. All right. All right. We have another Outstanding Performance Award. I want to invite up several patrol personnel, and as they're making their way up, I will tell you who they are. Officer Jessica Hernandez, come on up. Officer Beatrice Martinez. Oscar Escobar, if you're here. Timothy Deaver, Jeremy Williams, Dalton Land, Leanne Lamock, Sergeants Michael Johnson and Jesse Baum. And Sam Wilson, but he's not, I don't think Sam is here. All right. Now, let me tell you what these officers and sergeants did. This is an incredible story. Just 3 months ago, Officer Jessica Hernandez tried to stop a vehicle on traffic, but the driver fled. Now, wisely, officers discontinued the pursuit because all they had at the time was a minor traffic offense. Officer Martinez spotted that same vehicle driving erratically a short distance away and saw that the female driver was in serious emotional distress. The woman pulled over into a parking lot, and Officer Martinez and Hernandez approached to check on her welfare. The driver exited the vehicle with a handgun to her own head. Officer Martinez notified dispatch and attempted to de-escalate this very dangerous situation. Additional officers and supervision arrived and blocked off the area. It was apparent that the woman was trying to provoke what's commonly called a suicide by cop. Responding officers kept the public safe and kept this woman engaged with communication and de-escalation techniques. The woman's actions placed our officers at great risk, and they showed extraordinary restraint by not firing their weapons once crisis negotiation and SWAT members arrived. Everyone worked as a team. They did a phenomenal job, and by the end of it, this woman's life was saved, and she got the help that night that she desperately needed. And I want to read you just a portion of an email that this woman's father sent to me. He says, "I'm writing this as a father of a daughter who suffers from severe mental issues. I simply want to express my thanks and appreciation to all those officers who were involved in saving my baby's life. I'll never be able to express the gratitude I have, and may God bless them all." It is my honor to present you all with the Outstanding Performance Award. Congratulations.
Scooch in just a little bit.
All right, congratulations. Very well done. Very well done. We got to slow down. We're sailing right through these today. What a great job these officers did. You know, police department cannot function without dedicated people like this doing the hard work, and it certainly can't function at a high level without great leadership. That brings us to our leadership awards. We have 2 of them. I'd like to invite up, once again, Sergeant Brian Dudley and also PSO Manager Melissa Bajrami. I think we all did. Exactly. Okay, let me tell you about first PSO Manager Melissa Bajrami, and then I'll make both presentations at the same time. Melissa has been in her role as manager of our dispatch and jail, which has 45 personnel in total. We call them PSOs, Police Service Officers. And it is a very large and complex command area. Now, she consistently works hard at it. And I'm very proud of Melissa because she's been hitting all the right notes. She genuinely cares about her staff, puts a priority on good communication, and supports healthy and professional work environment, along with building upon that great customer service culture that she inherited. She's great at planning and making the most of her resources, and these are all great things. Well, let me tell you where she has soared as a leader, and this is important. Melissa's taken on the command's biggest challenge, and we all saw this coming. You see, from the summer of 2022 through the summer of 2023, we had a massive hiring surge, well over a dozen new people. And can you imagine the influx? It's more like 15, actually. Imagine the influx and the strain on training all those people. Melissa's challenge was to somehow get all these new hires trained up on several positions between dispatch and jail, 8 of them. And it takes a lot of work from everyone. It's also takes time, a long time. I'm happy to report that under Melissa's leadership, her staff is making great progress on that enormous undertaking. Well done. So proud of you and your staff for all the work it took to get us where we are today, which is in a good place. You've done an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now let's give her a round of applause. Yeah. All right, well, hold on just a minute there, Melissa. I want to tell you about Sergeant Brian Dudley. All right.
Oh, no.
Shut up, Charles.
All right, public enemy number one. All right. Sorry. I know, Brian, so this makes it extra difficult. All right. Sergeant Brian Dudley has done a really great job with the proactive policing unit. This year, it's been, like I say, about 6 months, the PPU, Proactive Policing Unit, and under Brian's leadership, teamed up with really, truly the entire department on a mission. And we call it our community improvement efforts along the Shaver Street corridor. When I say team up, I really mean team up with narcotics and investigations and patrol and community services, media relay, everybody involved in this effort, code enforcement, and our city partners. And that's been the trick, is to get our city partners involved, everybody working on it together. We even worked with apartment management and owners under the broken windows theory. And that was our belief early on, like I say, 6 months ago, that sort of thing really works. And it has. In a particular location, significant crime had been occurring, past tense. Brian and his unit were a part of this very large, unprecedented joint effort. The results, a significant drop in calls for service and an even bigger drop, and this is very important, in violent crime in that entire area. I love to talk about our top 10 list of apartments in the city. We have a list, and our apartments, 1 through 10, with the highest contributors of calls for service. And those calls for service range from everything from loud musics to robberies, sometimes even homicide. So we always watch that list, and for the last 3 years, there's been a certain address on that list, a very, very large apartment complex. It's in the south part of the city. I'll just say you get the point on it, all right? It occupied the #1 spot on that top 10 list for 3 solid years. During that 3-year period, it only dropped to the #2 spot a handful of times. Okay, imagine that. So it's a problem area. Now, after this initiative, and it's still ongoing, we got our first report about a month ago, right at a month ago, and guess what? That massive complex wasn't even on the list of our top 10 calls for service. That is a huge, huge victory. Yesterday came out with the subsequent report, and guess what? Wasn't on there again. So that was not a flash in the pan. That is taking effect and holding. I want to say that is great for the PD, the community, folks who live in the area, surrounding businesses, and the apartment complexes. People want to rent there versus when all that was going on. So rising tide truly floats all boats. Brian, you and the PPU were a big part of that humongous effort. Nice job. And I want to say one more thing. On the opposite end of town, the north side, okay, Brian and his unit led a response to a series of discharge of firearms call on the north side of town, working side by side with patrol, big effort by patrol. Also, Detective Cooper and crime analyst Randy Crowder. They worked on this gun problem, this discharge of firearm problem, all of them. The effort yielded some significant arrests and recovery of several firearms, and including lock switches, if I remember. Notably, once again, we had a huge subsequent reduction in overall gunfire-related calls for service in the city, which means a safer city, safer place to live. That is an amazing job, Brian. Your hands-on approach, leading by example, makes you great in your leadership role. And Brian and Melissa, it is my honor to present you both with the Leadership Award.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Excellent work.
I just want to say something real quick. It is a team effort, and without these guys right here, and a lot of people are in the audience, and the other sergeants, lieutenants, my lieutenant, chief, command staff, we couldn't do what we do. So I just want you to know it is appreciated, and I know when he says public enemy #1, I'm actually chief's enemy #1 because I'm always asking for something. I just did it again today, but they know that, you know, I've just asked for things just to help out, but I don't mean I'm not as hard-headed on it. I will take no sometimes. But anyway, but that's what that was all about. But these guys right here, that's what does it. These guys are sitting right here. They're the true heroes. Thank y'all. So.
And it was biggest group effort I've ever seen since I've been here. I'm so proud of our department and our city, everybody working together to get these results that we're after here. So I want to invite up now our two final awards. They are both chief citations, and I'd first like to invite up our academy personnel assigned from 2022 to 2024. Come on forward, academy personnel. As they make their way up, I'll say this: a ship's crew can be measured not by how they sail in calm seas, but rather how they perform in the storm. And I believe that. And these next two groups, the academy being one of them, they weathered some storms, I'll tell you that. All right. Everybody here? All right. Make sure our general, Alyssa, is here. All right. She makes it happen, I'm just saying. All right. This award is based on the unit's tireless work in recruiting, hiring, and training new personnel. Recruiting and retention are the hottest topics in policing. It's very well known that we currently face a critical nationwide staffing problem in law enforcement. Without everyone working together and working hard finding those creative solutions, we most certainly would not be where we are today. Let me tell you about some of the fruits of their labor. From 2022 to 2024, the academy staff processed hundreds of applicants across multiple civil service tests, ultimately hiring 59 new officers. This is effectively 16% of our current sworn staffing numbers. That's a pretty good chunk. To accomplish this, it's taken repeated 7-month-long cadet classes, running them back to back, often with some overlap between classes. This means no downtime and a ton of work from everyone up here, their entire staff. It's really an all-hands-on-deck approach when it comes to staffing, because they know what's at stake. We've got to refill these positions and keep our numbers strong. Without this hiring surge, our staffing department-wide would look much different, and not in a good way, I can promise you. They did all this while meeting the state-mandated in-service training requirements for all officers. It's a heavy lift. And I want to add this: I watched as they partnered with divisions across the department, media relations, patrol investigations, community services, and on and on. They've expanded our recruitment reach farther than ever by trying brand new things. Open house days, row instruction seminars, starting a 5K run recruiting team, looking to start in a golf team. We have a big Jeep design project that's underway. A couple of our officers here are working on that. All for recruiting. The results I shared with you speak for themselves. We are in great shape with our numbers thanks to the amazing work they do. And it is my honor to award them this Chief's citation.
All eyes up here. Big smiles. Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Excellent job. All right. We have now reached our final award. All right. Making great time, too, I might add. All right, I'd like to invite up our entire Honor Guard division.
Yes, sir. Perfect order than all you guys. That's fine.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Ladies and gentlemen, our Honor Guard unit is comprised of selfless individuals who volunteer their personal time. They undertake various ceremonial duties on behalf of the department. They stand ready to execute the highest honors for military veterans and law enforcement officers, often at a moment's notice. And this readiness is a testament to their dedication of duty. They're being recognized for a series of exceptional performances this year. As we all know, in January, we were struck with back-to-back absolute tragedies with the unthinkable loss of our own officer, Kerry Heiserman, and shortly after the shocking loss of our neighboring agency's Chief of Police, Doug Dietrich, of the LaPorte Police Department. These two, as I call them, monumental services were within days of one another. There was precious little time to plan, coordinate, and carry out honor guard duties. However, the team stepped into action and flawlessly performed both ceremonies without hesitation, even under such immense pressure surrounding these two services. Countless officials and citizens who attended the ceremonies called in and sent letters of thanks and appreciation for their performances. Well done. Families of the fallen officers were incredibly grateful for the efforts put forth by this selfless group. To say the very least, it's a long and excruciatingly painful process, that is, coming to grips with the loss of one of your own. I know LaPorte Chief Pullig, his assistant chiefs, Chief Deerdorf, you know this all too well. Everyone knows we have a deep connection to our brothers and sisters at LaPorte PD. They call us, we come, they do the same for us. That's how it is. LaPorte PD and their entire staff were devastated at the loss of Chief Dietrich, a great man, great chief. They needed our help, and of course our honor guard stepped forward again without hesitation. And one person after that service called and reached out, and he spoke of his unique perspective of our honor guard's performance at Chief Dietrich's funeral in particular. Here's what he said to me. The Holy Spirit filled the room and God's miracles took place that day. Their performance was awe-inspiring. It was like Big Brother came to town just when they were needed. From the soles of their feet to the tip of their hearts, Honor Guard was all in, truly humble, and they gave everything they had. That was an amazing description of his perception. I'm so very proud of our Honor Guard's performance at these two services because you can't buy this type of commitment, honor, and purpose. These things come from within and from above. And they are exactly what this Honor Guard team is all about, commitment, honor, and purpose. And it is my honor to present all of you with this Chief citation. Well done.
Yeah, I want to just briefly talk about this group. So anybody in here who knows the Pasadena Police Department, first off, lieutenants, I was a lieutenant when all this started, move around a lot. So when I was in my new office, or at least I thought I was in the right office, I looked at the org chart and I saw that I had the honor guard, and I'm like, I don't know anything at all about that. So I called a core group of really committed 5 or 6 people who had kept the honor guard going, but I found a unit kind of in disrepair. And I want to recognize some people who stepped up. Lieutenant Gonzalez was sergeant at the time. He stepped up to take over the sergeant of that unit, Sergeant Palitz, who knows a little bit more about honor guards than probably anybody up here. And Sergeant Coulter, just recently promoted and had previous experience on the unit. But these people stepped up. And one thing I'll say, we've talked a lot about the department today. A sign of a healthy department is when you see volunteerism among the young ranks. And we have all these people who are volunteering for collateral duties in the honor guard. You make our job so much easier when we have the manpower to do these things. I want to thank every single person up here, and also the volunteerism across the board, not just honor guard, but SRT, all the collateral units, SWAT, CNT, the things that make this department what it is. So, you know, we couldn't do it by ourselves, and for everybody who stepped up, Dana, Atkins, old heads who were here and everything, you kept it afloat. And now we've got it staffed, and it's just getting better. And thank you all for what you do.
Is there a way to get you between the flags somehow?
Outstanding job. All right. Before I conclude it, I just want to say Civil Service Commissioner John Matthews was here. Thank you, John. Sorry I didn't see you earlier. And Councilmember Dylan Dow as well. Hope I didn't miss anybody else. This will conclude the ceremony. We do have punch and cake. Please stick around and congratulate these recipients.